How you guys doing? Uh, all the developers, can you guys raise your hands so I know about this? Thank you. Oh, so all of you are developers. That's cool. So that's definitely not a question. As you guys are developers. यहाँ पे application सब use करते हैं. किसी ना किसी ने फूड पांडा यूज़ किया होगा फूड ऑर्डर करने के लिए रिसेंटली आज या कल, या फिर अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट यूज़ की होगी ग्रेड्स वगैरह देखने के लिए. तीसरा सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग है Tinder to make some friends. Yeah, you guys are excited about that. So let's talk about Tinder now. What if I told you guys that the Tinder application similar to Tinder can be built entirely in FlutterFlow without using code, with just some actions and some widgets. So we have a widget in FlutterFlow called swipeable stack. What's the main functionality of Tinder? Do you guys know about that? Yeah. Uh, we have like a swipeable stack where we swipe right or left to make some matches. So what we can do in FlutterFlow is use swipeable stack and add some actions, and that's all. That's how you build an application like Tinder in FlutterFlow. So one of the most core functionality or a component of FlutterFlow is widgets. How many of you guys know about widgets? That's great. So my name is Samir Shahzad, and I am a technical support engineer at FlutterFlow. What FlutterFlow does is it empowers users at all scales to build applications efficiently. Either you are a solo or a team, or maybe at an enterprise level, all of you can benefit from FlutterFlow to build your applications. So what is FlutterFlow? FlutterFlow is actually a visual development platform in which what you can do is like you don't need to code to build the most core functionalities of the application. You just need to drag and drop to make the user interfaces, the actions, or most of the common implementations that are required for mobile applications or web applications, or also all sort of applications. So as you can see in the video, in FlutterFlow, the building of application is really easy. All you can do is like just click and make those changes, and those changes are automatically reflected in the code. So you don't need to like make any changes in the code. You can just like change the text over here, and it will be automatically reflected in the code. So let's talk about widgets. So as FlutterFlow is based on Flutter, so our core component is widget as well. So as you guys know, one of the most commonly used widgets are column, images, or buttons. So what we can do is drag and drop all these widgets on the screen and create an application. So as you guys can see, it's a AI-based application. What you can do is like capture an image, and it will automatically like recognize the image and add the details. So moving forward, it's not all about widgets. What we can do is like add backend actions to those widgets, or the core implementations of mostly used applications. We have our action flow editor where we can add a flow of action. Starting off, as you can see, like just like an example, we are uploading some data to Firebase, and then after that action chain, in complete action chain, after that we are doing a backend query. As you can see, like it's that easy. Uploading media to Firebase in FlutterFlow. As you guys know, like you guys know, you need to add too many code, write too many code to get this implementation done. But in FlutterFlow, all you need is to just add an action. And just like that, APIs are the same. You just need to add an action, and you can set up all the APIs once, and then you can utilize those APIs directly by using just actions. Updating page states, and then the error catching. So just like VS Code, you guys can recognize the errors. FlutterFlow also does have this functionality, and running the application is really easy. All you need to do is just to press the test mode button, and you can see all the changes that you have made into the application. And you can just make the changes and press Command Shift and I, and all the changes will be reflected, just like FlutterFlow, or just like Flutter, I mean. So before FlutterFlow, when we needed to update an application or make some changes, it took a lot of time. Or the developer, like us, we might need to like tell the clients that you need to wait for 2 or 3 days. And after even 2 days, we might need some more time to adjust the application. But with FlutterFlow, it's maybe within 5 minutes. All you need to do is to directly just make the changes and click the publish button. And all the changes will be reflected directly into the application or the published website. So FlutterFlow is based on Flutter, as I said. And as soon as you drop a widget on the visual builder, all the changes are reflected at the backend, and the code is generated at the same time. What you can do is like directly download the code and utilize in Flutter as well. So there are like no restrictions from FlutterFlow that you'll need to like use our platform for all of your life, or maybe your company need to use our platform. You can just download the code and then you can make the changes in Flutter and maybe deploy on your own. So this is one of the best feature of Flutter, that it has one code base for all the platforms. So can you guys open up app.flutterflow.io and create your accounts? So you guys can explore. In the meantime, I'll move forward. So here comes a common question. FlutterFlow does have a lot of actions that you can use to create applications, like uploading media to Firebase, or maybe creating documents in Firebase or Supabase, connecting APIs, or many different functionalities. But what about those cases where there are no actions available? In those cases, what you can do is to create the custom code for those actions or widgets. So we have the capability to add code to those FlutterFlow applications as well, without disturbing the flow of FlutterFlow application. As you can see, we have like our own IDE in FlutterFlow itself, where we can add the code and then save or compile the code. What it can do, it can generate a new custom action that can be utilized just like the core FlutterFlow actions. Now, another interesting thing. There are some cases where you might need to make some changes locally in the code, which is not related to maybe custom actions as well. Maybe you need to make some changes in manifest.xml file. In those cases, what you can do is to download the code and make the changes locally. And even in such case, you can deploy the application from FlutterFlow. So deploying from FlutterFlow is like easy as cake. What you need to just do is to click the button, and it will automatically deploy the latest release. So one of the most important feature that you guys know, developers guys might know, branching. FlutterFlow has also released branching. So what you guys can do is like create multiple branches for the FlutterFlow project, and then make the changes separately and merge them according to your requirements. So these are some of the common integrations that we currently have, where you don't need to like code, and you can just directly use FlutterFlow's action in your application. GitHub deployment, CodeMagic. Anyone knows about CodeMagic? So yeah, so CodeMagic is tightly integrated with FlutterFlow's deployment, and all you need to do is to just set up it once, and after that you just need to like press once and deployment is done. It's for Play Store and App Store. And then Google Maps, Supabase, just like Firebase, we have Supabase. OneSignal for notifications, Algolia for faster search, Revenue Cat for payments, Stripe, Gemini, and OpenAI. So connecting a Firebase project with a FlutterFlow project is really easy. Did you guys ever connect a Flutter project with a Firebase project? You have to do like a lot of configurations, and it may take like maybe 4 to 5 hours. But in FlutterFlow, all you need to do is to just press this button and connect your Google account. It will automatically set up the Firebase at the backend and connect it with FlutterFlow. So you don't need to like make any changes or make any service accounts or make any sort of connections. Everything is done by FlutterFlow side. So we have multiple environments as well. So you can connect to multiple databases at the same time from a single FlutterFlow project. So you can maybe test the application on a different database than the production database. On a larger scale, it is like a really important feature. So schemas. So what we currently do is like uh, create the Firebase at the backend collections and then add documents manually. But in FlutterFlow, it's really easy. What you need to do is to just directly add the fields over here, and it will automatically create the document at the backend when you press the actions or execute the actions. So you don't need to like even create the collections or documents in the Firebase as well. Query and variable binding. So that's a hard task in Flutter as well, as you guys know. It might take a little more time to bind each of those variables with those queries and get the data on the screen. But with FlutterFlow, it's really easy. You just need to like add the backend query and just, for example, it's a text widget. You just need to click the text widget and select the value from that query. You don't need to like make any code, or maybe it might take around maybe a couple of hours to set up a backend query in Flutter projects. So libraries. After you create a FlutterFlow project, what you can do is like to utilize that FlutterFlow projects for all the other projects. In Flutter, you create a project and then you need to like duplicate that project and make those changes in that project to create a new project. Just like if you create a generic application and then you need to like create another application similar to that. What you could do is like to duplicate the code and make the changes. But in FlutterFlow, what you can do is to like create a library from that FlutterFlow project, and then you can utilize all the resources directly in the new FlutterFlow project. You don't need to like duplicate and like make the changes. So AI, the most important thing and the core agenda of DevFest. So here comes the interesting things. So you guys can create pages just by giving prompts. So if you need to like create a page regarding maybe profile page, you just need to like write that, and it will automatically generate a page for you. You don't need to do anything because we have like less time right now, so I cannot like execute each of those steps here. Just like that, we have components, and then sketch to complete. The most interesting thing. What you can do is to sketch on a page, upload, and it will create a page similar to that in FlutterFlow directly. And the code will be automatically created at the backend. And then we have magic cursor. For example, we create a widget, and we need to like create a complete implementation, maybe 10 actions. We need to like send a database request, create an API call, or show a snack bar. All of these actions, what you can do is write to the AI that I need to like execute those actions, and it will automatically create an action flow based on your queries and your backend structure. It will automatically recognize your backend structure, your APIs, and it will set up the actions accordingly. So you don't even need to like write the actions manually. So if you guys want to learn, we have FlutterFlow University, where we have like videos for all the topics. So just to give you an overview what you have like discussed today, we discussed widgets, actions, AI tools, Firebase and data, variable binding, debug plus test mode. So this is FlutterFlow for you guys. So theoretically all things are done. What can FlutterFlow achieve? What can we learn like from this today's like workshop. There's an application on Play Store. It's called Gifted. So it's built in 3 months. The complete startup has been built entirely on FlutterFlow. And then we have a Slack/linear type of application completely built on FlutterFlow. So you guys can understand like how complex projects can be built in FlutterFlow itself. And you don't need to like hard code everything. You can utilize the FlutterFlow section or maybe create some custom actions. And there is Spark Charge. It's a electric vehicle management app. And it has raised over $70 million. And it has been completely built on FlutterFlow. Yeah, here comes the interesting thing. So this is Fabric Flow. What you can do is to create shirts using drag and drop. And it is entirely built on FlutterFlow. So it's an application similar to FlutterFlow, which is built on FlutterFlow. So you guys can imagine like what you can build from FlutterFlow. So the possibilities are endless. It's about the efforts that you guys put in. So what we'll be providing you guys, all of the students over here, you guys will be getting 1 year of FlutterFlow Pro subscription for free. So it would be really helpful for you guys to maybe freelance some projects or create some production level projects. So maybe create your startup for first year. And for the non-education users, we can give you like 2 months of free subscription. If you guys are like more interested, you guys can reach out to support and we may help you a bit more. So yeah, here's the QR code that you guys can use. So just a reminder, we have goodies here. Yeah, even if you guys do not have a subscription, you guys can just reach out to support anytime. I'll be handling you guys. And if you guys have any questions, you guys are trying to build any application, I'll guide you step by step how this can be achieved in FlutterFlow. So you guys don't have to worry, just reach out to me anytime to support. So any questions? Any questions?
एंड्रॉयड पर हैं या फिर iOS पर हैं और कंडीशनली रेंडरिंग या फिर हम लोग उसके फीचर्स वगैरह यूज़ कर सकते हैं तो फ्लटर में हम लोग ये कंडीशनल रेंडरिंग यूज़ कर सकते हैं या फिर कंडीशनल calling of functions?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, and the answer is yes. We do have like a lot of implementation where you can conditionally build your logic. It can be dependent on your platform, on your theme, or a lot of like different aspects which you can choose from. We have global properties.
Okay.
Even we have like language dependent functionalities which can depend on language. For example, in English we might have a different implementation, and for a different language might be different. And also for the platforms, Android, iOS, web. So yeah.
आपने बात की कि कैसे हम नो कोड टूल को इस्तेमाल करते हुए पूरी एप्लीकेशंस बिल्ड कर सकते हैं तो व्हाट इज़ द लिमिट आउट देयर सो टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट वी कैन डू दैट
अच्छा, सबसे पहले एक चीज़, FlutterFlow is not a no-code tool. It's a complete visual development platform, just like Visual Studio, but it's like supercharged. You can like achieve a lot of things using just drag and drop and create applications without using extensive coding. You just like need to put a lot of efforts. You don't need to like put a lot of efforts in coding. Rather than that, in some cases, just like you said, there are some limitations, and in those cases what you can do is like to utilize custom code. And if those situations are not solved, you can just download the code and make the changes locally. FlutterFlow never restricts the users to download their code. They own the code. So yeah, that's the answer. You have a different?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So मेरा क्वेश्चन ये कि हम जब आप सबमिशन को कैसे हैंडल कर रहे हैं, लाइक एंड्रॉयड प्ले स्टोर पे डिप्लॉयमेंट या ऐप स्टोर पे, तो क्योंकि अगर हम वो मैनुअली करें या मेरे पास एक लाइक नेटिव ऐप है और मुझे इसको डिप्लॉय करना है, तो एक वो बहुत ही हेक्टिक काम है, तो आप उस चीज़ को कैसे हैंडल कर रहे हैं और वो क्रेडेंशियल्स वगैरह, क्योंकि
Yeah.
एंड्रॉयड पे डिप्लॉय करने के लिए हमें वो चाहिए होता है प्ले कंसोल और जीसीपी वगैरह, तो वो सब
Yeah.
चीज़ें आप कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, so for the first time, you need to like set up those things, but only for the first time. You need to maybe connect some maybe API keys that are connected with your Apple App Store account or Google Play Console account or service account user keys and stuff. But after that, you just need to click and it will be automatically deployed. Once it's completely connected with Play Store or App Store, you don't need to like refollow those steps, and you just need to click the button. So yeah. Yeah, for the versions you can just change the version. There is a section, for example 0.1, you can change it to 0.2 and click on the deploy button.
I have a question.
Yeah, so for now we have integration with Figma, but it's not at that scale. But what we can do is like import the design themes from Figma directly to FlutterFlow, so you don't have to like do it manually. So I hope like in the future we might come up with some cool features like
I
that.
have a question. बेसिकली मेरे क्वेश्चन एक आपने पहले दे दिया, दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है जैसे आपकी स्लाइड्स में मेंशन था जेमिनाई और चैट जीपीटी, अब मैं ये दो मॉडल नहीं यूज़ करना चाह रहा, मैं सपोज कोई हगिंग फेक से मॉडल डाउनलोड करता हूँ और या AWS पर डिप्लॉय करके उसकी API जनरेट करवा के वो सर्विस रिस्पॉन्स ले रहा हूँ, क्या वो इधर पॉसिबल है?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, like you can integrate APIs. So we support like all commonly used API types. So you can directly like utilize those APIs. You can set the backend other than Firebase or Superbase, any other backend, and then create the API and connect it with FlutterFlow directly.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are two cases. In the first case, you create the custom code in FlutterFlow itself, and after the compilation is done, you can use it as a custom action or a custom widget. But in the other case, if you don't have like that functionality, or it's like really correlated to the platform, maybe just I said Android manifest.xml file. In those cases, you need to download the code and make the changes. So because we have GitHub integration, so we do have like an entire process where we manage both the branches and deploy the changes that I've made locally and in FlutterFlow. So yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have faced two problems using the FlutterFlow. One is the app optimization. Like
Glad
the
to hear
code-
that there's a FlutterFlow user here.
Actually, I'm a Flutter dev. There was a client of mine who wanted me to work on the FlutterFlow, so at that time I worked on that. There was two things disturbing me. One was the when I have to debug on the data. Then I don't have any way. Like I have to print the data on some widget to show on the screen to see what is missing and what is the issue. There was no spot by the FlutterFlow in that case. And then there was the second thing, which was the app optimization. The app I am building by Flutter using Flutter generic code, that is more optimized than the app that is being built by the FlutterFlow. The code structure is really messy in the FlutterFlow. If you export the code from the FlutterFlow and look at it, there is a kind of a mess of code in there. So is there anything like maybe I was missing something because that was my only project that I worked on FlutterFlow. So if there is anything that I missed, can you please guide me on that?
Yeah, so you have the most important and good questions. So for the first question, we had introduced debug panel. सो अब जब आप रिसेंटली दोबारा अगर FlutterFlow को यूज़ करें और टेस्ट मोड रन करें तो साइड पे आपको एक डिबग पैनल नज़र आएगा जिसके अंदर आपकी डेटाबेस से जो रिजल्ट्स आ रहे हैं वो ऑटोमेटिकली शो हो रहे होंगे। तो आपको दोबारा से टेक्स्ट लिख कर आपको आउटपुट देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। और दूसरा क्वेश्चन आपका था
The app optimization.
जी ऐप ऑप्टिमाइजेशन। I think we are trying our best over a couple of years to try to optimize the application more and more. And what I can say is like we'll try to improve that further. And you can reach out through support and tell like these are the expected results, but the code is messy here. So we know like what can be improved, and we'll try to like further improve it for you guys. So yeah,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सॉकेट जब इंटीग्रेट करते हैं फॉर रियल टाइम डाटा तो आप उसका सपोर्ट दे रहे हैं या मुझे खुद से वो कोड लिखना पड़ेगा इन फ्लटर फॉर सॉकेट इंटीग्रेशन, सॉकेट आयो या वेब सॉकेट?
दोबारा से आप अपने क्वेश्चन रिपीट करें।
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि हमें रियल टाइम कम्युनिकेशन के लिए सॉकेट्स चाहिए होते हैं, सॉकेट आयो या वेब सॉकेट, तो उसके लिए आप सपोर्ट दें या वो कोड हमें खुद लिखना पड़ता है इन फ्लटर?
Yeah, so we have the API implementation, and it does support streaming. So for those cases, if your API supports streaming, you can utilize FlutterFlow directly. So you don't need to like do the code manually.
So will you move to socket IO or not?
Socket IO directly मैं इस चीज़ को आपको कंफर्म नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि डिपेंड करता है कि आपकी API किस तरीके से स्ट्रक्चर हुई हुई है बैकएंड पे। मगर अगर वो स्ट्रीमिंग सपोर्ट करती है तो it will definitely work in FlutterFlow.
Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा सवाल ये है कि बेसिकली हम कंपनी में जो है ज़्यादातर अपनी ऐप्स को ऑप्टिमाइज़ करते हैं साइज़ के अंदर, और जब इसको प्ले स्टोर पे हम लाइव करते हैं तो वो जो जितनी आपकी ऐप का साइज़ कम होता है उतनी आपकी जो ऐप है ज़्यादा ग्रोथ में जाती है। फ्लटर फ्लो में कोई ऐसी चीज़ है कि इसकी साइज़ क्योंकि बेसिकली फ्लटर जो है उसमें आपका ऐप का साइज़ बेसिकली विजिट्स की वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो जाता है, इसमें कुछ ऐसी ऑप्टिमाइजेशन है कि इसका साइज़ जो है फ्लटर की निस्बत कम हो?
फ्लटर की निस्बत तो कम नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि वी आर बेस्ड ऑन FlutterFlow is based on Flutter. So what we can do is like we suggest user some optimizations. There's a section with errors, there's another section optimizations where we suggest user to like remove those assets from your storage or instead like use network images or like optimization suggestions like that, so you can get help from those.
बेसिकली मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि फ्लटर के फ्लो के अंदर आप कौन सा स्टेट मैनेजमेंट यूज़ करते हैं? फ्लटर फ्लो का अगर हम कोड डाउनलोड भी करते हैं तो हम उसको रीयूजेबल बनाना चाहते हैं, कोई भी चीज़ लाइक हम पाइथन की कोई स्क्रिप्ट ऐड करना चाहते हैं, कुछ भी इस तरह की चीज़ ऐड करना चाहते हैं, तो उसके लिए फ्लटर फ्लो कौन सी स्टेट मैनेजमेंट को यूज़ करता है और कौन सी आर्किटेक्चर को फॉलो करता है? MVVM, MVCM या क्लीन आर्किटेक्चर, किस पे बेस है?
गुड क्वेश्चन। फॉर द फर्स्ट पार्ट हम कोई स्पेसिफिक एक आर्किटेक्चर यूज़ नहीं कर रहे, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ब्लॉक या डिफरेंट आर्किटेक्चर्स होते हैं, ठीक है। एंड फॉर द सेकंड क्वेश्चन इट्स अ लिटिल हार्डर एंड इसका आंसर मेरे पास अभी नहीं है। But you should definitely reach out through support. I'll definitely answer you about this.
सर आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन। सर जैसे कि हम फ्लटर में पैकेजेस यूज़ करते हैं पॉप आउट डेट से कि फॉर एग्जांपल पुश नोटिफिकेशन के लिए हम फ्लटर लोकल नोटिफिकेशन या ऑसम नोटिफिकेशन करते हैं, तो इसके लिए हमें एक कस्टम कोड लिखना पड़ेगा या
कस्टम कोड के अंदर आपके पास एक सेक्शन होता है जहाँ पे आप पैकेजेस डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं।
ठीक है,
पैकेजेस गेट करके आप कस्टम कोड के अंदर अपनी जो पैकेजेस हैं उनको इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं।
यानी कि पब डॉट डेव पे जो पैकेजेस हैं
जी
वो हम
आप यूटिलाइज कर
implement
सकते हैं FlutterFlow में।
ठीक है।
Not yet. It's like a really difficult task. Maybe in the future sometime. Yeah. It's page by page, so you need to like describe each of those pages separately. it will definitely like achieve something, but not completely similar to your existing application, but how the AI analyzes it. Yeah. Yeah, they are still using FlutterFlow and they are enjoying it. Like as you can see, like all of those startups, they are still using FlutterFlow, even like after achieving like huge funds or maybe a huge user base, they are still using FlutterFlow for their applications. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Uh,
For example, you have built your application in FlutterFlow, and then, for example, you have come across 100,000 users, and then what would you do?
इस सेंस में कोई स्केलेबिलिटी इशू नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि ये इंटायरली फायरबेस की फ्लटर कोड ही है जो कि आप यूज़ कर रहे हैं, और बाकी जो है वो आपके बैकएंड पे डिपेंड करता है कि आपका बैकएंड कितने यूज़र्स को इजीली सपोर्ट कर सकता है. फॉर एग्जांपल आप फायरबेस यूज़ करें, सुपर बेस यूज़ करें, कस्टम यूज़ करें, तो यूज़र्स का जो डाटा है वो वहाँ जाएगा, वो उस पर डिपेंड करता है, एप्लीकेशन पे डायरेक्टली डिपेंडेंट नहीं है.
Thank you.
यू वेलकम. सो
नहीं किया जाता, लेकिन दे आर स्टिल प्रिटी यूज़फुल, तो उनको हमने यूज़ भी करना होता है, लेकिन वी कांट डायरेक्टली इंपोर्ट देम. तो उसके लिए या तो हम उसको फोर्क कर लेते हैं, या हम उसको क्लोन करके प्रोजेक्ट की डायरेक्टरी के अंदर ही अपडेट करके रख लेते हैं फॉर यूजेबिलिटी, ताकि हम मेन तो डेफिनेटली वी आर नॉट द कंट्रीब्यूटर्स, लेकिन हम उसको अपनी एप्लीकेशन में यूज़ करने के लिए फोर्क करते हैं. तो इज़ दैट पॉसिबल इन फ्लटरफ्लो कि हम अपने प्रोजेक्ट की डायरेक्टरीज में कस्टम पैकेजेस ऐड कर सकें, ताकि हम उनको अपने पब स्पैक में यूज़ कर लेके डायरेक्टली इंपोर्ट कर सकें.
pub.dev के पैकेज नहीं, कस्टम पैकेजेस
दे आर फ्रॉम PubDev, बट दे आर आउटडेटेड ऑन
आउटडेटेड
PubDev.
हों, जो
तो
भी
हम
हों,
उसको
आप use
डाउनलोड
कर सकते हैं.
करके वी कैन इंपोर्ट इट डायरेक्टली इनटू आवर ओन सोर्स फाइल्स.
नहीं, इंपोर्ट करके आप नहीं कर सकते, उसके पहले आपको कोड डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा, मगर अगर
ठीक है.
पैकेज अवेलेबल है और एक्सेसिबल है तो आप उसको यूटिलाइज़ कर सकते हैं.